The bananas are like that's my joke. They're the easiest thing to grow in Saskatchewan. So once you have the building, you plant a banana. All it takes is it wants a lot of water. My design is super insulated, like 4 feet protected from the frost, and then the sun charges it up, so I can germinate any seed I want in January, right in the earth.
Welcome to the Flaman Connect podcast, where we share real stories, experiences, and insights from people who know agriculture today and care where it's going in the future. Welcome to Flaman Connect. I'm your host, Trevor, along with Regan and Mitch Flaman. Our guest today is Dean Sopher, owner and operator of Arcopia. Arcopia was founded in 2018, built on a passion for self-sufficiency, sustainable farming, health, and food. Dean developed his farm over time, building a passive solar greenhouse, barns, ponds. He got into regenerative farming, permaculture, and much more. He grows exotic crops in his greenhouse year-round, which includes turmeric, figs, lemons, limes, oranges, and bananas. And he also produces freeze-dried fruit smoothies in different flavors. So welcome, Dean.
Thanks for having me.
Where are you born and raised?
Right here in Saskatoon. City boy, though.
Okay.
Been 3 or 4 generations removed from farming, right?
Yeah.
So to get back into it, like I was in real estate, building houses, rental properties, and other businesses I tried and things. And I just kind of pulled the pin, kind of sold out, bought land for cash, and I'm going to go do my thing over here because I don't like some of these things that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And life isn't too great in the city, right?
Yeah, okay.
So to move out and kind of take responsibility for everything that I need, like food, water, shelter, security.
Yeah.
Like what a great thing. Actually, to the point where when my wife and I got married, we weren't even going to have kids. And I remember sitting on the deck of our house I finished building. It's like, what are you going to do today, Dean? I got apple trees to plant. I got fencing to do. Go side this barn, whatever. And then we made this decision to have kids once we were out there. It's kind of like a load was off
Sure.
of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a good environment to raise a family, right?
Okay, so you were doing, let's say, some urban living and building some houses and stuff, and then it gets to the point where, like, let's go get out of here. Let's go get in the country. Okay, so you buy some land and then build a house. Was there ever a thought process of like an off the grid, or was it a self-sustainable, or was it we just want to influence our own resources more? Or how did you get to that?
Well, there's so many aspects. So I really like following economics and the economy and things. So the way I saw things going with the price of food, the availability of food, even the quality of food, it's like, no, I'm going to start controlling my own destiny here.
Yeah.
And then from my wife's perspective, that is more of a health aspect. That, no, she's worried about quality of food. So we want to raise fresh things and eat as fresh and good, and we don't use any chemicals or nothing on our property and things. And yeah, just controlling my own destiny, taking responsibility for everything in our lives, I guess.
So this is interesting because I would have expected this to happen post 2020, like post COVID, especially when things started getting expensive, and then I'll say the train of thought of like we're so regulated, or we're really just, sheep, or like we don't have the ability to make our own decisions. We do what we're told to do. Like I saw a lot of that we need to live off the grid mentality come out.
Take control.
Yeah, with all the frustration, the anger of like people being told that they needed to have vaxes, or they just started being told what to do, and people don't like being told what to do. So I would have expected a lot of this to come post 2020, but your timing would have been interesting then, because as this COVID comes into play, you're kind of already out doing your own thing.
Yes, and you mentioned we first founded our just little company in 2018, but I had bought the land in 2013, I guess.
Yeah.
So
so you'd been out there for...
And plus having the mentality that I had for years prior to that, being in the city, right? So we got bare land, and I pioneered everything from nothing over the past over a decade now, I guess. But
Yeah.
putzing away, figuring out what works, trying goats, trying this, like trying a million things, and we still do, and kind of figure out what works. And because my mentality as an entrepreneur, I can do anything. Like I was going to be an eye surgeon at one point, I thought, computer programmer. I had scholarships to commerce, and then, put on my resume like goat farmer, right? Like homesteader now. And it's fine. That's literally what I thought the best option was in the world. So, and it's been a good decision. We love the life. So
what would you, it is how, okay. So you pronounce it Arcopia?
Arcopia.
Okay.
Yep.
What does that mean? And what would you say, I don't know, like elevator pitch, like you run into someone, what is Arcopia and what does it stand for?
Well, yeah, that's tough because we do so many things, but, Arcopia is kind of like the perfect arc, and we bought our first little freeze dryer machines in 2015. Invented hundreds and hundreds of products, and eventually figured out, okay, this is the most beneficial one and stuff. And we went down the smoothie path. Now, just we actually don't produce those on the farm, but we did invent them on the farm, and it took me a year. I stopped everything on the homestead, put that business together. So that was finding fruit from around the world, big freeze-dried facilities overseas with all the certifications that are set up and stuff. So we have fruit from around the world, freeze-dried overseas, tested in Canada, brought to the Canadian market, and now I have a very high-end product, and the way that I do it, I control everything. I sell at the cheapest price, so I do very, very well with those. Off the homestead, what I found, things are very expensive to do anything in Canada, some of the stuff that I'm doing. So a lot of these things I get into, it's number one, what do I need? What's a resource that I need? So I built this greenhouse economically and things, and I plant orchards outside. My mentality with all the businesses that I've had, like how I'm finding success is, if that greenhouse provided zero monetary value other than supplementing my family's food, it's a win to me.
What fruit would you be able to grow outside in Saskatchewan that you'd have the most success with?
Probably apples. I think we've got 30 apple trees, 18 varieties started. Sour cherries have been really good. A lot of this is just homesteading, not business-wise, but we produce for ourselves. But the sour cherry varieties, we got a steam juicer, and we can actually process that into some usable stuff. To try to pit these little berries and stuff is tough. Hascaps, the birds really like those. It's actually not my favorite berry, but that's something that we can do. Raspberries outside, but very short season as well. So if you were to go into fruit production, you'd have to have a big operation, maybe like one harvest a year. Everything we do here, you need like more land because our season is so short for anything outside. So
What percentage of what you grow is inside versus outside?
Outside comes with so many issues but so does inside. So in the deep winter greenhouse we did, our winter greenhouse, we have other issues to worry about. So it's an enclosed environment and an ecosystem I have to manage in there. But outside you also have pests and things as well. But there's a million things we have to mitigate. One was even our water source. It's very good well water, but it's ice cold and hard, lots of calcium. So then digging a pond for a future water source, softer water, not as harsh, for flower farming and all this other stuff. Like my wife doing some experiments with flower farming, growing stems and things. And some of her mentors, they would actually haul water because their well water is too cold, and I didn't want to do that. So then I dig a pond, and then when you have pond, then you put fish in it and you get fish protein. And I found all this stuff really works together as I'm figuring it out. So yeah.
From the sounds of it, a lot of where you've gotten to today has been just your own experimenting, right?
It
just
is.
figuring out what works.
Yeah.
What's an experiment that would have failed drastically that you would maybe talk about?
Okay, here's...
Oh, we have things.
These are a smoothie product that we invented. So I designed that, did the nutrition charts, like I photoshopped everything and found suppliers, but that's what our the freeze drying portion of things ended up going into. So I tried farming garlic on a pretty decent scale, like a hard neck garlic. So I got seed and stuff, and then miserable failure at that. We cold winter, no snow, 2 years in a row, right? But I got some, and then I'm like, okay, well, I got like the world's highest end organic garlic, and then I had to buy a little clove peeler and then peel the cloves, freeze dry it. And by the time I'm done, like I have a product that took so much effort, the price is so sky high and out that it's not a business, right?
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So unfortunately, lots of this freeze dry stuff, at least where we are, electricity is expensive and it's hard to grow some things outside. But yeah, I figured out, okay, just stop that. We can do some freeze drying for ourselves or really small stuff. And if we do some value added on the homestead, it's just going to have a higher price, but I'm not going to go big into it or be in stores because the price is too high, right?
Yeah.
So the homestead is like raw commodity foods and the best that I can provide, not a lot of value add to it, but maybe in the future I have a few ideas, but
yeah.
Have you ever tried growing pawpaws?
I haven't, even in the greenhouse, and I've been meaning to do that. Maybe outside, if we like made some sort of microclimate or your shelter belts get bigger, I think we can make them survive outside here, actually.
Okay.
I believe they grow them in Alberta, so like outside.
I've always wanted to taste one, but like you can't get them in the grocery store.
No, you
because
can't.
they don't have a shelf life. But
Right.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What is it? Yeah.
they're kind of
It's your dad.
they're kind of about the size of a kiwi. They have kind of big black seeds in them, and they're yellow when they're ripe. When they're ready to eat, they only last like about 3 to 5 days, and then they're done. Yeah, they're native to Niagara area,
Something like that. Yeah.
So you can grow them in Canada, but
Well, even figs, like I've never had a fresh fig. Have you ever seen a fig at the grocery store? Like, no, like they don't exist. And like, oh man, that's what a fig tastes like. Like, so good. And buckets of figs out of that greenhouse. So much we were making jams and stuff. Like, so the deep winter greenhouse is maybe what I'm best known for now. I got suckered into coming out with it on YouTube. The word was kind of getting out on it, so I figured I'd take matters in my own hands, start my own channel, I guess. But
That's what the channel's called?
Arcopia.
Okay,
Yeah.
but go back to the deep winter greenhouse.
Yeah. Okay. So they call it or passive solar greenhouse or deep winter greenhouse, and that's because where we live, the sun is so low, 14 degrees, almost horizontal, that the sun comes deep into the greenhouse. So it's super insulated on the top and then just has south glazing, and that's specific for our latitude on planet Earth. So the sun comes in, charges the whole greenhouse in the winter. In the summertime, my greenhouse is nice and cool. The sun's up here, and it only gets maybe 2/3 of my grow bed, and it's cooler. It feels like a basement in the back of my greenhouse, no fans or nothing going. So I designed it, and I put myself out there. So many people since the YouTube, I do some consulting, but it's some basic trigonometry. Like this is maybe my original one, how I designed. Summer solstice, 61 degrees. And so it's cold like this. It's warm. The sun's like this. And I did it so all my concrete is charging in the wintertime. And in the summertime, all my concrete and thermal mass is not getting hit by the sun. So just basic, and I was a home builder. I became obsessed with high efficient building, passive solar technology. So my little house essentially doesn't have a heating bill, but my total natural gas bill is $600 a year for a 3,000 square foot greenhouse. So so I spent the money on some, brain power and insulation and the design, and then I don't have any ongoing costs. So this is a eucalyptus tropical plant that has been like the most profitable thing. This is a whole tree. We have like a 16-foot tree in our greenhouse, and my wife makes So many things. Like we could even start an apothecary, but she loves it. So this is baby diaper balm, tallow infused with some other things, not eucalyptus. This is a natural bug spray you could drink that's infused with that eucalyptus that works better for ticks and mosquitoes. And it's funny. We just try these different things, but sorry, I went off on a tangent. But bananas. Okay, so that was awesome. The bananas are like that's my joke. They're the easiest thing to grow in Saskatchewan. So once you have the building, you plant a banana. All it takes is it wants a lot of water. I don't put any synthetic fertilizers, but it just grows like a weed. And the leaves are usable. The fruit is excellent. I've never had a banana like that because I've never had a fresh banana. And yeah, the whole plant's usable. Whatever environment I have in the greenhouse, the high humidity and the heat, the banana loves it. The figs love it. I'm having trouble with avocados a little bit. I don't know if it's too humid or not enough sun or something. My oranges are taking their sweet time, but we have a newer olive tree in there that's incredibly, like, growing incredible. What else have we had trouble with? Mangoes. I've killed like 5 mango plants. They don't like me. But bananas, whatever, they just work really, really well in there. So,
do you have the root system in a pot or a trough, or how do you support it with enough dirt?
So our main bananas are right in the earth, essentially. So it's my design is super insulated, like 4 feet protected from the frost, and then the sun charges it up. So I can germinate any seed I want in January right in the earth. So I dug out some of the crap clay that we had and brought in some good soil, and the bananas are just planted in the Saskatchewan ground.
So it's
but there's a greenhouse around
roof, essentially.
Essentially,
it's not potted. It's not bedded. It's in the ground with.
And then you water straight into the floor?
That's right.
What you do?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So because this is kind of a prototype, nobody's done this where we live, kind of thing. But so I have some concrete areas so we can have potted plants, and that's where my wife starts her flowers and our outside garden stuff and racking and things. Mm-hmm. Then half of the greenhouse is just in ground. I brought in really good soil. It has a drip system automatically, so it doesn't take a lot of our time to do some of this, and just planted things in the ground. Raised bed across the front. I tried some rainbow trout aquaponics at the back. And then I still have one little tank of just some tilapia that I essentially just do water changeovers to feed my banana. But then I did the pond, so the rainbow trout go in the pond. So now I don't have to deal with an aquaponic system. It's just much easier in a natural ecosystem outside. But oh yeah, it's fun. Like we do a lot of stuff, and it's all experiments, and I find out what works, and
Oh, that's cool.
You've got a bag there that is lean ground turkey, fully cooked, freeze dried.
Yeah, these are. I did most of this like 9 years ago. So this is this is clear packaging. So light and oxygen moisture will seep through plastic, but like Mylar, this is what our smoothie is. Yeah. So this is the only preservative. You freeze dry, moisture test. Put it in here without any oxygen, and then this doesn't let anything through, so those smoothies will last forever, essentially.
But when I looked here, almost like it's arbitrary, best before date of 2049.
Yeah, and that's the best before, it's. Yeah. And I've done experiments. I've stored some of this in the snowbank outside. I've stored it in a dirty old sea can and stuff, and it survives plus 40. It survives minus 45, like for years. It's kind of an amazing system. Like freeze drying it removes all the moisture without using heat in the process, so you get 98% nutrient retention, give or take, on some of these things. So it's still fresh. Like that garlic is like having fresh garlic, but it's like in a time capsule where you didn't use any preservatives. So that's what drew me to freeze drying, I guess. But
So so what comes first? It sounds like the freeze drying method is quite important to the whole identity of what you do and how you do it, or like that whole technique.
Well, that's our first a product that people can buy that we invented. But actually, when I first heard about freeze drying, I thought it was the silliest thing. You need this super high tech machine that's energy intensive. It has warmers, refrigerant, a vacuum pump, all this stuff that's going to screw up. And I like canning on a wood cook stove, right? But we were good at canning, dehydrating. We did all that and then bought our first machine. But we still do canning and things. So if anybody's thinking about buying one of these home freeze dryers, I say first be a producer, produce some food. So you're not like literally when we start, we'd go to the grocery store, try to buy in bulk to freeze dry stuff for ourselves. And I'm like, well, this doesn't even make sense. So I got to start growing things in gardens and meat. And yeah, this is our turkey there, wherever that is, and stuff. And yeah, now we grow bananas in our greenhouse. We can, not feasibly. I'm not going to compete with 79 cents a pound, but I can grow bananas. It's just kind of a cool thing, right?
Yeah.
So the freeze dry machines, even the home ones, are quite pricey. So I would say first become a producer, grow some stuff in your garden, get some chickens, whatever. First be a producer, then learn how to dehydrate and can, do some of that, figure that out. And then if you still producing stuff in abundance, get yourself a freeze dryer. And, we have, my wife's a very good canner, which she barely has any seals break, but I know we have 6-year-old mason jars full of whatever she's canned, and that's not very good anymore. But if we had spent the energy to freeze dry it, that's still good. Like this garlic in Mylar will be good the rest of my life. I never have to grow garlic again, the amount of garlic that I have, right? I might try changing the environment in the greenhouse that'll allow me to maybe grow these citrus a little better. It's a little too humid in there. Try mangoes again. See if I can get an avocados. Avocados are very difficult. For whatever reason. We have a 4-year-old plant that's like 4 feet high, but it's not doing very good. We're going to plant a whole bunch of table grapes, like stuff that we cannot grow here. I forget what they're called. Not a Concord, but something else. We're going to expand with that. Try some supplemental lighting because our days are quite short. In order to get strawberries, I need to spend electricity to have supplemental light. And it's just a big experiment. And it's as I have time between homeschooling the boys and everything else that I'm doing, it's kind of when we have time to try something, we'll do it. But I switched to livestock and just hatched 200 ducks and our heritage mix and doing turkeys and kind of figuring out a system with that, and that might incorporate some hoop tunnels for them to be in the winter time, and then kick them out of there to outside, and then switch to growing in the hoop tunnel flowers and other things. But yeah, so it's fun. I have ADD, in case you haven't noticed.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Dean. Our guest today was Dean Sopher of Arcopia. He's the owner and operator. You can check him out on his YouTube channel. I'm your host, Trevor Grindy, along with Regan Kuntz and Mitch Flaman. Thank you for joining us on Flaman Connect.